Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How you doing today on this Monday evening? How you doing this evening?
Watched a lot of basketball over the weekend.
Yeah. There was a basketball game on basically all day
Every
the past
day.
2 days.
Yeah, both 2 days. It's great. Yeah, there'll be more tonight.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, it's...
I love the first round of the playoffs.
It was very,
great.
very
There's
interesting.
so much basketball, you know,
Right.
and there was some great games this weekend. I can't wait to talk about them.
Well, we do have two more games tonight. We do have game 2 of the 76ers at Nets. That's at 7:30 on TNT. As well as at 10 p.m., we have probably the best matchup in the West, Kings and Warriors. That'll be game 2 at 10 p.m. Tonight. But let's get into our first topic because we do have some breaking news. So Jalen Hurts, there were a lot of talks about whether or not he'll get his extension this year or wait for his 5th-year option next year. Well, he signed a record-breaking deal. Jalen Hurts signed a 5-year, $255 million extension, $51 million per year on average, with $179.3 million guaranteed. I think he also has like a $20 million signing bonus as well. So,
Crazy money. Crazy
just made it
money.
to a Super Bowl. Had a chance to win it. It was one of the higher scoring Super Bowls.
He had better
The
play.
better quarterback in that Super Bowl. Yeah. So do you think, was this a smart idea to give Jalen Hurts this record-breaking contract?
Well, I guess that's what the market is these days. I do think, he got a big contract. It's the richest one, but the guaranteed money is not what Deshaun Watson got.
Right.
And I think that's a realistic guarantee. You know, that's really the Deshaun Watson deal is outside the parameters of normalcy, right? And none of this is normal, really. It's all breathtaking, the size of the money these guys are getting, right? And given how rough and violent the game is and how often people get hurt, you know, to think that somebody gets a 5-year, $255 million contract and they're going to walk away with $179 million no matter what happens. It's amazing. It really is. It just shows how much money is involved in professional football these days and how important it is to the American society. Right?
Yeah.
But I do think it sets a standard that's more realistic. If you can say $255 million for 5 years, and almost $180 million is guaranteed. If that's realistic, that Lamar is just another nail in his contract coffin. I think.
Right.
I think it just says another reason why he's not going to get what he's asking for.
Well, so people did the math on like the value of the contract, and there were questions about Lamar and his contract because we talked about it. About his, what was it, $133 million for 3 years, but there were other incentives. There was an injury guarantee that brought up to $175, and then a springing guarantee, which brought up to $200 million. We actually have that breakdown right here. This is the breakdown of Jalen Hurts versus Lamar Jackson. I'm not sure where the total value of $250 million came in, but that is basically the same type, at least money-wise, from Jalen Hurts to Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson didn't want to sign that deal. Jalen Hurts was perfectly fine with signing this deal, which is a little weird about how the situation's turning out. Because we talked about the $200 million fully guaranteed, supposedly, if you include all the rest of the guarantees. But it looks like, Jalen Hurts without those other guarantees, because there were actual guarantees for Jalen Hurts, and then there were some actual guarantees for Lamar, and then the injury guarantee, then the springing guarantee, which made it a weird situation, but
yeah, they wound up pretty much Hurts' contract, huh? Pretty similar.
It's very, very similar, which makes it seem like why didn't Lamar, when he got the opportunity, sign this deal?
You know what? If Hurts had gotten his deal first, maybe Lamar would have signed his.
Well, now Hurts got his deal, and now it's whether Lamar is going to sign it.
Yeah, I think
that's
Lamar,
the big question.
You know, if Hurts' deal had come first, then maybe Lamar, and then Lamar got his offer, maybe he would have signed it. But unfortunately, Deshaun Watson's deal came first.
Right.
And that's the one that Lamar is using as his benchmark.
And now we've come to a situation where Lamar has now basically demanded the Ravens to say, go get Odell and DeAndre Hopkins. The Ravens are like, we can't afford both those players,
and
so they just
him.
got OBJ and him.
him.
They also have to pay him. Although maybe he would have played on the non-exclusive tag then if they got both the receivers, but now...
But that defeats his purpose.
Right, he wants a long-term security at an insane amount of money as well.
I don't know what he's thinking.
So now, you know what? Jalen Hurts, like, of course, I think 100% he deserves...
He got a great contract. I think that's
is.
a great contract. He's how many years has he been in the league?
This 3 years? Last year, this was his third year, so he's going to his fourth year.
Yeah.
And he's improved every single year.
Yeah.
It's the same jump. I put this up months ago. The same jump Josh Allen made from his rookie year to his second year. Then he got Stephon Diggs, and once he got a number one receiver, the jump was insane. Now he's actually regressed slightly in some statistical categories. He wasn't able to get to the same level of playoff competition since the first year with Stephon Diggs. But Jalen Hurts has taken a huge leap. He's gone from 52% completion percentage to 61.3 to 66.5. His yards, it went from 1,004 games in his rookie year to 3,100 to 3,700. Touchdown to interception ratio, 6-4, 16-9, 22-6 this past year. That's throwing touchdowns and interceptions.
How about his rushing yards?
His rushing yards, I have that here as well. Went from it was a little bit less than his year two. Went from 354 in those 4 games to 784 to 760 this past season. Jalen Hurts has been phenomenal, and we're talking about a guy who, for his first 2 years, people didn't even think if he was really that good. I didn't understand it myself, but people were saying, why do we have Jalen Hurts? We need to draft a quarterback. It just made no sense to me. Jalen Hurts comes out and in the Super Bowl against Mahomes, puts up insane numbers and has a chance to beat Mahomes. If it wasn't for a holding call, he would have had a chance. I mean, he's more than deserving of having this big deal, but then it brings up questions. What's Joe Burrow's contract going to look like? What's Justin Herbert's contract going to look like? What's Lamar maybe going to settle for? Maybe what will the Ravens offer him? Because apparently, technically, they already offered him up to $200 million guaranteed. What's the next step for Lamar and them? So, I like the Jalen Hurts.
I think Lamar should go sign his contract.
Do you think the Ravens will still give him that 133?
Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't.
Now they're saying no one's offering you nothing. Here's the thing. Maybe it'll pick up after the draft. Maybe that's what the situation's going to be. People are going to figure out, okay, if our guy's not there, if the Colts for some reason want Bryce Young or CJ Stroud and can't trade up for it 1 or 2 picks, what are they going to do? Are they going to settle with Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, or will they say, screw it, we'll go out and get Lamar?
Here's another thing. Some people may be thinking, do I really want Lamar Jackson? I appreciate his talent, his athleticism, what he's done in the NFL, MVP. But, is he somebody who's going to do something a little wacky with our team, in terms of his dissatisfaction with certain things?
Could be.
I mean, he comes across as unreasonable, right? And what he's asking for.
Right.
He's unreasonable.
I guess it's just his outlook. He's saying, well, I want this, and I'm going to get this no matter what, or else I'm going to make a big fuss about it.
He may wind up getting nothing.
He may have to settle with a franchise tag this year, or just not play and don't get paid.
Yeah.
Because now people look at it saying, well, the Ravens took a huge risk by letting the market dictate what you are. And let's just say no teams
I'd say they have the upper hand by a long shot now, particularly with this deal out there now.
Right. Like this I'll bring it up again. Technically based on the numbers, Lamar could have had a relatively similar deal, very, very similar deal than Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And Jalen Hurts...
And if Hurts' deal had been the benchmark, he probably would have signed it. And you know what? He probably would have got an extra $5 million to match it.
Maybe.
But it would have been a deal.
But do you think Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar, though? Do you think Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar? Because we talked about this in the last show where I said...
No, I don't think he's better.
I think it's very, very close.
His first 3 years, I guess you could say, and again, football is a team sport, right? Maybe Hurts has been better in the playoffs because he did get to the Super Bowl, and Lamar has had trouble in the playoffs.
Right.
But Lamar is a special talent.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm thinking it was down that. I put him in the problem is when he's healthy, I put him in my top 3. I have Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar. And then from there, you could argue Trevor Lawrence, Justin. I honestly think Jalen Hurts is probably within my top 5, honestly, because Jalen Hurts, he could throw the ball pretty well. plus his running ability, like you have to put that over. I mean, it's so hard to determine right now who's the best because you have to. I guess people are gonna say if you want to put in Lamar because he will be healthy, where would you put him? But I don't know because like last season, Lamar came in and he was doing better numbers than his unanimous MVP year, and it was just middle of the season he started to lose to like the Giants, and then he lost in that huge game against the Jaguars, the late game loss to the Jaguars. He just didn't look that great in the second half, and then he gets hurt in the pocket. It's just a situation of where do you want to put Lamar? I put him outside my top 10 going into last year because he wasn't healthy. How can I put a guy in my top 10 when he doesn't play, when he hasn't even finished the season?
Yeah.
So where's Lamar going to be placed here? And how's Lamar even going to play? He's got OBJ now, which should help him. Now, here's the big asterisk. If OBJ doesn't play like the Rams version of OBJ, people will say, oh, Lamar still has no receivers. OBJ is washed. Like, did we not? Like, I think that would be unfair for OBJ.
I think
he
maybe
was
the
almost
Ravens.
the Super Bowl MVP.
I'm a little surprised. Well, I guess the Ravens, maybe they kind of went for it on the cheap. You know, I mean, you look at OBJ's contract. That's a very good contract for a guy who's had 2 ACLs. Right. And he didn't play at all last year. Right. That's an excellent contract.
Oh, it's
but
phenomenal.
they would have had to pay a lot more for DeAndre Hopkins, and that probably would have been the better choice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And DeAndre Hopkins.
If OBJ can't perform like we're used to, you're right. They'll say Lamar still doesn't have any great receivers.
And I think that would be unfair.
And that may happen. I think Hopkins would have been the better bet on that in that regard.
But then you need to probably pay $10 to $12 million more per year.
Yeah, you get what you pay for.
It may be. That may be the case. But, you know, Hopkins he started out missing 6 games due to the PED suspension. He comes in, he performs pretty well. I mean, he had to play with David Blau and Trace McSorley. And was it Colt McCoy, I believe, played. So, and by the way, I believe I saw today the Cardinals got Jeff Driscoll on a 1-year deal. So it looks like
Jeff Driscoll, who the hell's he?
He was on the Texans. He came in for Davis Mills a couple times. So depending on, like, I still understand. Like, no one's talking about Kyler Murray being out at the beginning of the year, but I felt like that was common knowledge. So the Cardinals just going to go in and say, well, we're going to deal with what we got. Like they didn't go for Andy Dalton. They didn't go for, I know Baker Mayfield isn't good, but they didn't go for him. They didn't go for Jameis Winston. So my question is, what are they doing quarterback-wise? Are they just saying, screw it, we could win, we could lose, whatever? Are they like I brought up, intentionally tanking to get a better quarterback over Kyler Murray if they're not happy with him?
I don't think they're going to intentionally tank.
It's just a thought, but it's weird. But Jalen Hurts, hey.
I mean, they have a brand new coach, so
they do.
He's not going to want to have a 1-16 record on in his first inaugural year.
Well,
right?
I don't think Kyler Murray's going to win only one game or something like that. But
Murray's coming back when? November?
I think it's around November. Yeah, around Thanksgiving. So that's what, 8 games, 10 games.
Maybe they just don't want to create any kind of quarterback controversy. When Murray comes back, they'll be begging for him to come back and play instead of, hey, you know what? Maybe if he isn't fully recovered, so and so's doing well enough. Stick with them, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe.
Who knows what they're trying to do?
All right, let's get into our next topic. We're talking basketball, the NBA playoffs. I want to talk some Knicks. We're going to Madison Square Garden because this may be the best competition in the East. Knicks, Cavs. No one's picking the Knicks at all to win this series whatsoever, except I believe me and you both had the Knicks winning.
Yeah. And
surprising, there were some unsung heroes, some unruly heroes for the Knicks in this game. Josh Hart off the bench, 32 minutes, 10 rebounds, 17 points. While injured, he made that like sidestep 3. And I mean, that basically sort of sealed it for the Knicks in that game. So I want to know, how important do you think this win was, game 1 on the road versus the Cavs? How important do you think this win was for the Knicks?
It was crucial. I mean, that really, for many people, unexpected. But to win the first game on the road, you know, and know that you've got right now you got the home court advantage. You took it away from the Cavs in the first game, and the Cavs are the higher seed. So I think it was a huge win for the Knicks, one of their biggest wins in a long time, right? And I think that I looked at the stat sheet, right, and I looked for one or two things that really made the difference? The rebounding, right? The Knicks had 51 rebounds and the Cleveland had 38, right? And look how close the score was.
Right.
Those rebounds made a huge difference. And I agree, Josh Hart, he really stepped up, right? 17 points, that was unexpected. And 10 rebounds, too. He made the difference on rebounds, right? 51 to 38, and he had 10. So you expect Mitchell Robinson to get a lot of rebounds. He had 10 as well. But Josh Hart is not that big a guy. Right? He's a guard. So he really played extremely well. And if he can keep that up, that bodes very well for the Knicks.
Something that I was surprised by in this game is the Cavs never really had a lead. Their largest lead was 2 points.
Yeah.
The Knicks were mainly in control of this game throughout the entirety of it.
They had pretty big leads there, and then they kind of shrunk, and then they managed to pull it out at the end.
And they almost choked at the very end.
And, Jalen Brunson, he started out terrible. Right?
Yeah.
He got into foul trouble. He hardly played in the first half. The second half, he controlled the game.
Right.
He was the major difference for them in the second half.
In the first half, Jalen Brunson only had 6 points, and I believe he ended with 27.
Yeah.
So he stepped it up in the second half. But I think a crucial part of this game for the Knicks was the second chance points. Like you said, the rebounds. Yeah, the rebounds led to 23 second chance points, only 12 for the Cavs. They had 16 shots that were second chance.
Yeah.
They made 7 of them. So, first of all, R.J. Barrett had a horrible game. Shot 2 of 12, and he made 1 of 5 from 3. The only 3 he made was when his defender was at the foul line.
It was his first playoff game.
It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
But still, Jalen Brunson, like this is the reason why the Knicks went out to get Jalen Brunson. When they couldn't get Donovan Mitchell, they had to find the next best option.
Key pickup.
Absolutely.
Key pickup.
Absolutely.
Very smart pickup. I can't believe Dallas let him go.
Hey, it was Mark Cuban maybe getting a little stingy.
Maybe.
It
was a mistake.
Absolutely. I mean,
the other thing, I don't know why Obi Toppin doesn't get a few more minutes.
That's what I've been saying that for 3 straight years.
How come he doesn't get more minutes?
3 straight years.
That
Obi Toppin is efficient. He's good. He defends very well. He doesn't get any minutes.
Yeah, he had 9 points in 14 minutes.
I mean, you kept quickly out there. He shot over.
Yeah, he had 4 rebounds too, right? Let's see. Yeah.
Obi Toppin, he had 4 rebounds.
4 rebounds.
4 rebounds, 1 assist, 9 points.
Yeah.
He looks great.
He was
the second highest plus minus
great
guy
out there too. He's big. He's mobile.
Yeah.
He looks really good. I don't know why he doesn't get more minutes.
Emmanuel Quickly had 10 more minutes than him, and his only points were I think free throws. That was it. He was 3 points, 0 for on the floor though. 0 for 5 from the floor, 0 and 2 from 3. He got 10 more minutes than Obi Toppin. Personally, I don't understand that. Obi Toppin, like I've been saying for the past 3 years, Obi Toppin needs to get a lot more minutes. He needs to be your 7th or 8th man. Meanwhile, he's not getting any playing time. Josh Hart, honestly, I think you can make an argument, put him in the starting lineup over a guy like Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes didn't have a very good game. Josh Hart for the Knicks. That was a great pickup. One of my friends said that the Knicks overpaid for Josh Hart. Well, if Josh Hart's going to give you this type of production, name a price for him. I don't think you could overpay for a guy that literally saves the first game on the road against a team where no single media coverage is giving you a chance.
Barrett didn't have a great game. Quickly had a very poor game too.
Right.
He only had 3 points in 23 minutes.
I mean, Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, he started off nice. He ended the game okay. He had 19 points, but he didn't shoot very well. 30% from 3 of 10, and 7 of 20 from the floor.
No, he had 10 rebounds.
But he did have 10 rebounds, which is the big thing.
I'm sorry, I said Mitchell Robinson had 10.
No, Mitchell had 8. Yeah.
He had 8.
5 turnovers though for Julius Randle. 5. It was not an insanely efficient game, but I feel bad for Osman on the Cavs. He guarded Jalen Brunson. He got cooked on the 3. On the 3 by Josh Hart in the end of the game. The sidestep. Osman was Josh Hart's guy.
Yeah.
So I sort of feel bad for him, but Donovan Mitchell, 38 points. What the Knicks need to do with the Cavs is what the Celtics did with Giannis last year. Donovan Mitchell's going to get his. However many points he scores, that's how many he's going to score.
That's what they did when you look at the score sheet, right? Donovan Mitchell had 38. Nobody else had even 20.
Right. You
Right.
got to slow down the shooters.
Jared Allen was
like
the
Mobley,
second.
like Darius Garland, like Jared Allen could make some threes.
Garland had 17 and Allen had 14. That was the next two highest scorers. The rest of them were in single digits.
Right.
So you can't win with one guy.
Like
So,
the Knicks played like the Cavs are the number one defense in the NBA this year. The Knicks outperformed them on defense. They played much better defense on the Cavs than the Cavs did on the Knicks. It was surprising just how well the Knicks played defense. I mean, Jalen Brunson out there, he's a good defender. And what I'm surprised by is the way Jalen Brunson transitioned from being Luka's number 2 to being a counterpart number 1 with the Knicks. Like I've said, you could argue who's the number 1, Julius Randle or Jalen Brunson. You could argue whoever's the number 1 there. But I would say 1A, 1B is Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. The way he could step up and be that number 1 type player for the Knicks, it's impressive. And that begs the question again. Did Mark Cuban really think that it was all Luka and Jalen Brunson wasn't worthy enough to be paid as their number 2? It makes no sense.
They went to the conference finals last year with that team, and Brunson was a key piece of it, and the chemistry in those players was great.
I think Luka got hurt in the first round of that playoffs last year. Jalen Brunson carried them through that first round.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what exactly it was.
Well, their loss was our gain. We root for the Knicks.
Yeah. I mean, I picked the Knicks in 6, and this win right here set the tone. Like that. That's very very crucial.
The Knicks in 7, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about 6. I said,
yeah, it might be 7 if they have to go back to Cleveland.
They would need to lose one at home, I think, for it to. And
it's possible. I look how close this game was, and look how good a player Donovan Mitchell is. If any one of those other guys even steps up in a big way, it could make a difference.
I just want to feel how loud Madison Square Garden is going to be in Game 3. Just I want to understand, because if the Knicks get on some sort of run, the roof is going to be blown off because they're just going to go insane. Obi Toppin gets a nice fast break dunk. Madison Square Garden is going to absolutely explode. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see.
Madison Square Garden has waited quite a long time for the Knicks to be really good.
They were in the playoffs, I think, 2 years ago against the Hawks.
Yeah.
And Trae Young just did a huge number. And then the Hawks were never the same after that playoff run. That was a Cinderella.
Celtics.
I think they made the conference finals as well. And then they ended up losing to... it was the conference finals against the Bucks, I believe. And the Bucks went on to win the championship that year against the Suns. So
the Hawks, they've fallen a long way, man. They made the playoffs, but they got smoked by the Celtics in the first game.
They were down by 30 at half, and then second half they came back a little bit.
Yeah.
They made it somewhat interesting.
They got it down to 12 points, I think.
I think
the Celtics took off again.
Yeah, the Celtics, though, they probably just said, hey, you were up by 30, take it a little bit easy. So Game 2 is going to be very, very interesting. I think Game 2 is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to take a break. But coming up, we break down the Kings win versus the Warriors. And who's the bigger loss, Giannis or Tyler Hero? We discuss that right after this.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
Podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into the big topic, the Kings versus the Warriors. The Kings are able to pull out with a massive win, 126-133. It was a big game for Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox, especially in the fourth quarter. They combined for 28 of, I believe, their 35 points in the fourth quarter. Curry dropped 30 points along with 6 rebounds. So I'm going to ask you before I jump very deep into this, are you surprised that the Kings were able to pull out this win against the Warriors in Game 1?
Not really. I'm picking them to win the series, and you got to expect they got to win the games at home if they're going to win it in 7, which is what I'm predicting. And that was one of the best basketball games I've watched in quite a long time, I must say. Very exciting game. Excellent game. The Kings started out, they were nervous, I think. You could tell at the beginning. They weren't able to hit their threes. They missed opportunities. They weren't handling the ball all that well. But then the second half, man, they were like the light came on, and they were really unbelievable, especially Fox. His three-point shooting, his clutch play, I was very, very impressed with him. And if you look at some of the stats, it's surprising the Warriors lost this game. They had 31 assists to 18 by the Kings, right? 31 assists. That's a pretty big number. You'd think they'd have more points, or they would at least win the game. But the Kings, on the other hand, and this is a point that you bring up often about the Warriors being a small team, right? The Kings beat them on the boards 50-41. So that offset the assists to some extent. So that was a great game. I really enjoyed it, and I think Mike Brown is a great coach. I think he should be the coach of the year.
I think he probably will be. So the first half, I will say this. I said the day before, I believe, on Friday's show, that I don't think Kevon Looney or Draymond Green will be able to slow down Domantas Sabonis. That was probably the worst take I had in that show. Kevon Looney forced Domantas Sabonis in the first half to shoot I think I have the number here. Domantas Sabonis shot 4 of 12 from the floor. He did have 9 rebounds, but he had 10 points shooting 4 of 12. He did not have a good first half. Hell, he didn't even have a good game. I think he made 1 shot.
No, they sat him down for a long time, right?
They did, because he just wasn't his normal self.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. People are saying, oh, the Warriors, only if they played like their normal ball. Well, look at the numbers. They actually did play their normal basketball. Andrew Wiggins, his first game back in 2 months, which is surprising how well he played. He scored, let's see here, the number 17 points with 4 rebounds and 2 assists. What is his season average? 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Klay Thompson, another starter. Klay Thompson, 21 points in this game, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. In the season, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. So relatively the same. Steph Curry, another starter, 30 points in this game with 2 assists and 6 total rebounds. His average, 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. He had a little bit less. He had 4 less assists. Kevon Looney, his average, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. In this game, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. And the last starter for this game was Dante DiVincenzo, who put up 10 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds. And his average is 9 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. The Warriors starters played the exact same they normally do. Now, Andrew Wiggins wasn't a starter in this game. It was Draymond Green and Kevon Looney with Dante DiVincenzo, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. But Draymond Green also puts up his relatively decent numbers, his triple-single, 4 points in this game, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. I think he averages relatively the same, maybe 6 more points, something like that, 5 more points on the season. But the starters, including Wiggins, because that was their big X factor, people saying, well, Wiggins is going to play so well, he's going to get back into his form. They did the same. So you can't say the Warriors were sort of out of motion because they did exactly what they normally did. The Jonathan Kuminga, what about him? Yeah, he put up 8 points. He averages 9. Jordan Poole is the only one that really had a huge sacrifice in points. He averages about 20. He scored 17 in this game. I do want to bring up some crucial moments, though. In the fourth quarter, which is where the Kings really took over, there were a lot of mistakes. The first one I want to bring up before I show the best shots, like the clutchest shots from the Kings. I will say this. The Warriors played their defensive game plan completely wrong. I don't know what they were looking at. I don't know what sort of film that they were watching. They put arguably their best guard defender, Gary Payton II, which is what people were saying is a X factor on the defensive side. Gary Payton II, he should be guarding probably the best player, but he was guarding the bench player, Malik Monk. Do they not realize that...
He didn't do such a hot job. They had 32 points.
Right, but did they not realize that De'Aaron Fox is the clutchest player in the NBA, which means when you're within 5 points with 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, they put Andrew Wiggins on him, and Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green covered De'Aaron Fox as well. They each got cooked. I want to bring up some film here. Let's start with 92-91 ball game, 11:23 remaining, so this is what happens. You get a pass for De'Aaron Fox over Draymond Green, nails the three right here. With 11:01 remaining, tie game. Malik Monk, sick pass by De'Aaron Fox, drains a three. With 8:35 remaining, crossover, got Draymond Green. De'Aaron Fox made the mid-range with 6:41. Malik Monk driving on, I think, Andrew Wiggins there. 5 minutes. Screen by Sabonis on Andrew Wiggins. De'Aaron Fox 3, put him up by 2. Now, this was insane. This Curry corner 3, that was an absurd shot.
He made that shot.
But the Kings weren't rattled. They drive right in, get the pass out to Harrison Barnes, and then look. I think De'Aaron Fox made the 3, put him up by 1. So they were in the fourth quarter. De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk were just. Klay Thompson also couldn't miss in the fourth quarter. He put up 6 points, 2 threes. Curry made 3 threes in the fourth quarter, 13 points in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, they couldn't miss, except De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk also went off.
28 points between the two of them.
28 points between the two of them. And they also had, I think, 6 rebounds to go along with the 28 points.
I wouldn't be too hard on Sabonis. I mean, he did have 16 rebounds.
He did. No, the rebounds were good. Just offensively,
16-point rebounds. Good. That was you could say that was a difference in the game. They beat him out by 9 rebounds in the game, and the score was only a 3-point differential. So those rebounds made a huge difference.
I was very surprised just how well the Kings were able to rebound, because they are the 20th ranked team in rebounding this year. Compared to the Warriors, well, yes, I have ridiculed them for being a very small team. They're still the 8th best rebounding team in the NBA. And what do those rebounds do? It brought them about 5 more second chance points. They had more fast break points. They were the quicker team. And the huge thing, like I've been saying, the Warriors are a tiny team. Points in the paint. The Warriors had 44. The Kings had 60. They dominated the paint in this game. Yeah, well, about half their points were in the paint.
The Warriors are a 3-point team.
They are. They're the. I have it right here. The Warriors are
Splash Brothers.
Number 2 team in 3-point percentage. Number 1 in 3-point attempts.
They got the Splash Brothers.
They
right?
do.
Jordan Poole is a 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, they like the 3-point shot.
This was another. This is the weird thing. The first half, the Warriors were getting a bunch of the calls. The refs in this game didn't really swallow their whistles whatsoever. There were 48 fouls in this game. I think that was the most for the weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
There were 25 fouls for the Warriors, who I think fouled the most. They're the 28th team in personal fouls, compared to the Kings, who had 23 personal fouls. The Warriors had more turnovers. They are ranked dead last in turnovers. The Kings had 13 in this game.
Yeah, but those two stats, I don't think the personal fouls or the turnovers were the big difference, because they were both close on each team.
No, right? There weren't a big difference, but I'm saying the Warriors still did more. Yeah. Like that cost them. I mean, also Malik Monk went 14 of 14 on the free throw line. I think he was an 82% free throw shooter. He made 14 of 14. It was crucial. And I guess after that last 3, it was I think a bunch of free throws for the Kings. I don't think there were many other layups or points like that. The Kings just outplayed them at the very end. They could not stop the clutchest player in the NBA, De'Aaron Fox, or Malik Monk. The Lakers gave up Malik Monk, and I think that was a big mistake. trying to not re-sign him. But, hey, I was a little bit nervous because in that first half, the Warriors looked like the much more dominant team. I believe they were up 61-55 at the half. Just imagine. The Kings didn't even have their shooters on that night. Their shooters were completely off the board. Well, probably their best three-point shooter, Keegan Murray. 1 of 5 from the floor, 0 of 3 on the three-point line. He had 2 points. Played 15 minutes in the game. As the number 1 three-point team, you got out-percentaged by the Kings, who are who are 9th in three-point attempts. You're 2nd. You got outshot by them. I'm a little bit nervous about tonight's game, though, because what's going to happen? It's going to happen every single time. You outperform in the first game, and then you have to take a little bit of a back step in the second one to sort of regather yourself, and that's what I'm a little bit nervous about. So,
well, that's where the coaching comes into play, and Mike Brown will have those guys ready to play, I think. He's a fast break team. Fast break coach. When they talked to him on the sidelines, he said, we got to get down the court quickly before they get back into their defense.
Right.
That's the key for us, and I think he'll be focused on that tonight.
Absolutely.
He'll see a very fast-paced game.
I fully expect that because the Warriors are 2nd in pace. So they like to control the game, get the most possessions they can in that game. If you slow the game down a little bit, or even speed it up so the Warriors can't set. It depends on how you want to take a look at it. If you want to control, you could control the tempo, I guess. Take what the Warriors are giving you. If they're slow getting back on defense, have Malik Monk or De'Aaron Fox go downhill like they did late in the game. Malik Monk drove on Draymond Green a couple times. De'Aaron Fox drove and kicked it out on Andrew Wiggins. Get that open 3 going.
Yeah, I think you'll see Sabonis play better point-wise tonight, too.
I think as well. But the question
what's his regular average points for the year?
Sabonis?
Yeah.
I'll bring that up.
So he had 12 in that game.
He averages, when this loads, I think he averages 19 and 12.
Okay.
19.1 points, 12.3 rebounds, 7 assists. 61.5% from the floor. He shot, what was it? He shot 5 of 17.
Yeah, well, they had a plan for him. Maybe they...
Kevon Looney destroyed him.
Yeah. Well.
So, and also, this thing with the Warriors defense, their point guards give up almost the most, I think they're top 7, as their point guards for the most points given up at that position. So to say Gary Payton was a major difference maker, no, he first of all, they guarded the wrong guy. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. You wanted to guard the best guy and the clutchest guy late in the game, but you put him on Malik Monk, who came off the bench, and you still allowed him to get 32 points.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're expecting the Kings to win tonight?
I'm expecting the Warriors to win tonight.
You think so?
I think the Kings...
But you're picking the series to be only a 5-game series.
Yeah, I know. You
don't think the Warriors will win 1 at home?
I don't.
They're going to have 2 games at home.
They are. But here's the thing. If I'm saying that the Kings lose tonight, I have to say that. But I just think mentally, it's just the way things go. It's the same sort of mentality for the TCU game for the national championship. TCU played their tails off against Michigan. They got destroyed at Georgia. They just got crumbled because they put all their energy into maybe, arguably, that Michigan game. So now they weren't as ready or as fresh as they were for Georgia. That's the reason why I think that this game for the Clippers Suns, Kawhi had 38 points. And I said the Clippers are going to win 1 game because Kawhi's going to go off. I think the Suns, after that first game, I don't think KD played very well. I think, honestly, the Suns could sweep them after this. I think I picked the Suns in 5. I just think Kawhi played probably his best game in the playoffs so far. Without Paul George, what's going to happen if the Suns get into a rhythm?
Yeah, I was surprised that the Clippers won last night.
Right.
I'm really surprised. I don't know. Well, maybe I'd ask the coach what the hell happened there. I mean, he has got the best team.
Right.
By far. I mean, they didn't have Paul George last night. And so, yeah, I would thought they were outmatched. But that's Leonard. He's a championship player, right? He won a championship in Toronto.
Right.
So, he's got a warrior's heart. He really stepped it up. And
Russell Westbrook, even though he shot, I think, 3 of 19, 15% or something like that from the floor, it was his defense late in the game that was able to stop the Suns from trying to make a comeback in that game.
What happened to Kevin Durant? I expect him to step up with 30 points or so.
I agree. It was a weird situation for the Suns not to have, a supreme KD, and that's his first loss since I think January 4th. So it's going to be
a playoff game.
It is a playoff game.
Yeah.
It is a playoff game. Let's get into our next topic. Let's finish it up here because Giannis and Tyler Hero both got hurt in Game 1, where the Heat, took care of the Bucks pretty handily.
They controlled the whole game. They got a lead and they never gave it up.
Right. So
they added to it at the very end.
Yeah. No, they kept it going, but it was weird. Giannis left late in the first due to a lower back contusion it came out to be. And Tyler Hero broke, I think, 2 fingers on his right hand and also shot a 3 before he came out. It wasn't a good 3, but how much could you really expect the guy?
Must have hurt.
Oh, absolutely. He was in pain. It looks like he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. Giannis, we don't have a definite. I think he's probable for Game 2. But let's go with hypotheticals here. Who do you think, if Giannis is out for Game 2, who do you think is a bigger loss for each of their respective teams? Giannis for the Bucks or Tyler Hero for the Heat?
Oh, Giannis by a mile.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look how big and powerful he is. I think he's a game changer out there on the court. When he's out there, the defense has to account for him and then some. And I don't think that's the same with Tyler Hero.
Very interesting. I think I'm going to call this a hot take because I think if we're saying who is the
Giannis
bigger
has been
loss,
an MVP in the league.
Correct. I think he was if I'm not mistaken,
He's won a championship too.
He played great in that championship. Dropped a 50 piece in the last game. I'm saying that Tyler Hero is probably the bigger loss for the Heat than Giannis is for the Bucks.
Oh, you're looking at it from
I'm
team-wise.
looking at
talking
team-wise.
about the series itself.
Okay.
The series itself, Giannis is.
Well,
I think he means more to the series than.
Technically,
Hero
Tyler Hero is out for the series. So
yeah, he is out.
I'm still going to give it to Hero regardless because Tyler Hero there's probably second best scorer on that team. So if Jimmy Butler is down on points, I mean, Jimmy Butler dropped 35 in this game, and also Gabe Vincent went 4 of 5 from 3. He scored 15 points in this game. If Tyler Hero or if Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler they're slightly below, like how well they played in this game. Bam dropped 22 points. Jimmy Butler, like I said, dropped 35. Tyler Hero is their next scorer. So if Tyler Hero's gone, who's going to pick up the pace? I mean, Victor Oladipo didn't play. Duncan Robinson, who used to be a great catch and shoot 3-point shooter for them, I don't know what happened to him. He just
More
couldn't play.
minutes for Kevin Love.
Kevin Love had 22 minutes. He had 18 points and 8 rebounds.
I mean, he's getting older, but he's gonna have to play more minutes now.
On the Giannis injury, it was Kevin Love who tried to take a charge in that, and you could argue that it was a charge. It seemed like his feet were set and he wasn't moving, but he got a block called, and that's when Giannis had his lower back contusion. And I think Kevin Love also tried to draw another charge and then got the charge called. I think before that play. So Kevin Love, even at his later years in the NBA, is still putting his body on the line for the Greek
I wonder
freak.
if he can stand up to more minutes now. He's going to have to play more minutes because Hero's not there.
Probably, or you gotta put Kyle Lowry back in the starting lineup, maybe. Which I don't know if you really want to do that. He took one shot in this game in 18 and a half minutes of play. He made the shot, but
what's happened to him? He was a big force last year.
And that's a good.
Right?
And he also was a big force in the first game.
The Celtics Heat series last year. Kyle Lowry had some great games.
Absolutely.
What's happened to him? He's getting older.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
he's I think 36 years old, 37. So I'm not too sure.
He's going to have to step up more too now. Both he and
Who's
Love.
going to be the player though? Is Kevin Love going to be put in the line to get an extra big man, or are you going to put Kyle Lowry?
Put Lowry in there as a starter.
But Kyle Lowry's much better off the bench. But like he took one shot.
One shot.
So I don't know what you're thinking. And Caleb Martin had a good game, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line, 5 of 7 from the floor. He had 15 points. But I think the big question mark is what are the Bucks gonna do? Because honestly, regardless, the Heat were still doing really well, even with Giannis in there in the first quarter. Because Giannis went out.
The first quarter, it takes some. This is the
33 to 24.
First game of the playoffs. It takes the teams a little while to get in sync. I don't think the first quarter is the defining quarter of a game.
The Bucks actually stepped it up when Giannis went out of the game. Because each of the quarters...
They have some big guys, right?
They do.
Portis is a big guy,
Yep.
and And
You had Brooke Lopez.
Brooke Lopez, who I think is a great player.
You also have Joe Ingles, he made 3 threes in this game. Those were his only shots, but Bobby Portis shot 21 coming off the bench in this game. So, you know what? Maybe, I think probably Giannis will come back in game 2, but I think we're going to see because
he has a bruise on his back.
It's a lower back contusion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we saw it in the Heat Celtics series. When Tyler Hero wasn't himself, Jimmy Butler needed to drop like mid-30s each game for the Heat to at least have a chance.
Yeah.
And also, Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin each hit crucial threes against the Celtics.
I think they should give Gabe Vincent some more minutes. He played very well.
He got 33 minutes. He was a starter in this game, but, I mean, Caleb Martin nearly matched him with 25. Caleb Martin almost played as much as some starter minutes in this game. So I guess you want to take out Tyler Hero, put in Caleb Martin maybe, potentially. I mean, I think you got to have another big man. Because right now you have Max Strus as your forward.
Yeah.
You got Jimmy Butler as your forward, Gabe Vincent, and Bam. Yeah. So I would move Jimmy Butler to the shooting guard,
I would say
put in Kevin Love.
The Heat look like a small ball team against the Milwaukee because Milwaukee has so many big guys.
Right.
They got some very big guys.
Yeah.
Lopez, Portis, and Giannis. All huge.
Yeah.
Right? And very mobile.
Yeah.
Portis and Giannis especially. Not so much Lopez. But
Lopez up there. But
he's getting up there in age.
Yeah. No, but Brooke Lopez could still shoot. I mean, he didn't shoot
the 3.
He didn't shoot well from the 3 in this game. He shot 0 for 3. But still, no, he can make his 3s.
Yeah, he's good defensively. Right.
He was almost
player.
He's near defensive player of the year. I don't think he has a real shot.
He's
but
a finalist.
Yeah, I think he's the second favorite for defensive player of the year, if I'm not mistaken. But I think when we're taking a look at this game, I was shocked with how many points the Heat scored. They averaged 109. They put up 130 against a team that I think has. I'll look it up right now just to be safe. But I don't think the Bucks give them any points. They put up 113 per game. They're fourth in defensive rating, though. So they are a pretty good defensive team. And they allowed 130 to a team without their second primary scorer. But Jimmy Butler was going off, and they didn't have Giannis. So I guess you could say, in the context of things, it wasn't that surprising. But the Bucks played better without Giannis. They kept it closer, and they actually won the fourth quarter. They outscored the Heat 29-28 in the fourth quarter, but I guess it didn't matter at that point because you still lost by 13 points to the Heat. I'm honestly, depending on how the game 2 starts off, I think the Heat may have a shot. It's not a big shot. I'll give it maybe 35%.
If Hero didn't get hurt, maybe, but I don't think so now. I think they're going to be overmatched, particularly when Giannis comes back. He's going to come back.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no. He's not like a broken hand like Tyler Hero. It's a contusion. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see. This series is not as interesting as the Knicks-Cavs one because those middle matchups are interesting. I think the Kings-Warriors one, there's a lot of hype around that one, so I think that one's probably the best series in the West, but I don't know. First round of the playoffs is looking very, very good so far. And now we got 76ers Nets, game 2. I just want to know who you're taking for that series.
I think the 76ers.
I probably will agree with you, even though McCall Bridges had a phenomenal game.
They might win it more shorter than that with the way James Harden is shooting the ball.
He was,
oh my God. The deep threes, man.
Those step back deep threes,
deep 3.
Yeah, it was very, very impressive.
Way back there, way behind the line, sinking them.
Yeah, and
he couldn't miss there for a while.
The first half he could not miss. I think he had one late at the buzzer as well in the first half as well. It was very, very impressive.
I mean, if he can play like that through the playoffs, they might have a shot because Embiid is an MVP type player. Yeah. So. They look really good, but I think the Nets. I'd say I give Jacques Vaughn a nod. I mean, he got that team into the playoffs
from where it was,
and all the turmoil they had all year, and he got them into the playoffs.
Right.
I think that speaks very highly of him. He's done a very good job.
Yeah, and I just want to get your pick here: Warriors Kings. Game 2, TNT, 10 p.m. Eastern. Who you got?
Kings.
Kings game 2. You think they could keep up that same pace?
I think they hold their home court advantage.
Okay.
It's going to be much harder for them tonight because the Warriors are well coached.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to look at the film and they're going to find a few things that they can fix and change. And
I guarantee you, put your best defender on De'Aaron Fox and not Malik Monk.
Yeah.
Because De'Aaron Fox went off in that fourth quarter.
No, I think what do you think the best series is in the first round here?
Overall?
Yeah.
I think with the hype around it, I would give it to Kings Warriors.
I think you're right. And the second best?
I'm saying Knicks Cavs, honestly.
Yeah, so am I. I think so too.
Because I just think no one's picking, for some reason, I don't understand it. Nobody's picking the Knicks. They give them zero chance to beat out the Cavs. And I'm saying, why?
Yeah.
The Knicks did a number on the Cavs this year already in the regular season. So you're telling me that they can't take basically the same team that they were playing with against the Cavs and just beat them in a 7-game series? It didn't make sense to me. The Clippers Suns one was a very interesting one, but I don't think Russell Westbrook's gonna have the same defensive performance. Kawhi, I don't think is gonna drop 38 a game. Personally, he doesn't do back-to-backs this season, but this is technically not a back-to-back. But I just think he's not gonna be able to replicate it in a 2-day span. So I'm not sure what's gonna exactly happen. But tomorrow, Tuesday, we got 2 games going on about the same time. Hawks Celtics 7 p.m. on NBA TV, and the Knicks Cavs 7:30 on TNT, and then you wrap up the last game, Clippers and Suns 10 p.m. on TNT. I got Celtics sweep, so I have to go Celtics. I'm going Knicks game 2 again, although that would mean that the Knicks would have to drop 2 games. They couldn't win any game at home. Then I would say, or I guess they could. They win 1 game at home if I want them to win in 6. It's a weird thing, but I just feel like the Knicks game 2 against the Cavs, they did a number on them, but can they replicate that? Can Julius Randle replicate that? Can Jalen Brunson replicate that? And I'm not sure. And then I think I'm still taking the Suns. I got to pick the Suns to sweep now. If I'm going to stick to my Suns in 5, I got to have the Suns to sweep.
I think the Suns will win the next game.
They should.
Yeah.
Playoff basketball. It's a great
I think
time.
It'll be hard for the Knicks to win 2 in a row out there in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be challenging.
I probably will agree.
And I think it's going to be hard for the Kings to win tonight. I think that's going to be very hard. Generally, the Warriors, they're a championship type team,
right?
And they'll look at the film and make some adjustments, and I think that will be tough on the Kings. But wow, their crowd is like unbelievable. Huh?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they haven't had a playoff team in a long time.
17 years.
You can tell those people are crazy on the sidelines.
Their last playoff win was
nuts.
April 30th of 2006. I believe the number is. I'm looking here. The Kings play at Golden One Center. They were ranked 20th in attendance this year. Apparently, not many people went to their games.
This year they were ranked 20th.
They were ranked 20th in attendance.
Oh. It must have picked up as the year went on. Right?
Probably, yeah.
Because they started playing better.
I think their over-under for this season was 33 wins.
Yeah.
They ended with 48, so I think they blew that prediction out of the water.
Yeah. I really think Mike Brown ought to get the coach of the year, because you look at the players he's got. He doesn't have like a rookie who is just making a splash, you know.
Right.
These guys have been around for a while, and they haven't been able to win, and now he's got them winning.
Right.
You know, like De'Aaron Fox.
6 years in the league.
Something with him. You know, he's 6th year in the league.
Yeah.
I never heard of him. I really had not heard much about him. And Malik Monk, I haven't heard about him either.
The Kings don't get credibility until they start exploding like they did this year with the number 1 offense in the league. And Mike Brown is largely responsible for that, because this team is essentially the same as it was last year, and the Kings didn't get the same amount of success as they did last year. Now, De'Aaron Fox was a first-round pick, 5th overall. I think Malik Monk was also a first-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, 7th overall. So these guys are high draft picks. 11th overall, sorry, for Malik Monk. So these guys are coming out here as high first-round picks, and they're performing as they should. So, I mean, can Malik Monk replicate the 32-point performance against that team? I don't know. But if he can't, Sabonis is going to need to step up, score, 10 more points than he did in this game. And I don't know if he can do it because Kevon Looney shut him down. So I don't know. I'm nervous about tonight. I am. But I'm still sticking to my guns.
Yeah.
I'm never backing down.
If you
Kings
stick to your
in
guns
5.
and the Warriors win tonight, then the Kings have got to sweep the Warriors at home on their home court, and I think that's going to be very hard to happen.
I completely agree, because the Warriors are insane at home, and the Kings. I'm nervous, but I think I deserve to be nervous because
I
the
think
Warriors
I
are
have
very
the
good. They're a
Kings in
championship
7.
team.
They got to hold the home court all the way through in order to make that happen, I think. So they
Right.
got to win tonight.
And I think it's going to be very, very challenging for the Kings to replicate what they did because De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk went off in the fourth quarter while Curry was exploding in the fourth quarter as well. He couldn't miss from three. Clay couldn't miss from three. And I forgot
It's
to
a
mention
great
this.
game. It was one of the best games
What's
I've seen in a
Curry
long
doing
time.
shooting a running three?
I know, he didn't need to do that.
I don't understand.
He could have set himself. He
Did
had
he
enough
think
time.
did he think he was running out of time?
And actually, the defense by the Kings wasn't very good. They left him open.
Yeah, no, he did have an open shot. I think there was like a second remaining when he shot it. He had more than enough time to try to set his feet and shoot. And for some reason, he just tried a running one-handed three.
I know.
I don't understand it. But NBA basketball, the playoffs is an insane time. It is.
I mean,
very
the
nice
regular
time.
season's almost like an exhibition season for the NBA. It's the playoffs that really matter.
Well, this season I think was a little bit better because the West it was like a game.
They stepped their games up so much more.
Right.
They actually try to play defense.
Yeah.
I think that it's a very different.
LeBron's over here, jumping at loose balls and taking out people's legs for loose balls. He's not doing that in regular season.
There wasn't much defense in that game, right? It was 128 to 112.
And the Lakers played unbelievable.
They played. Their scoring was well balanced. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
4 players with 20 points.
No,
or
it
more.
was very, very impressive.
Yeah.
But although I will come back and say that this season, at least in the West, it was more exciting because late in the season, every game mattered. I mean, just look at the Mavs. They were the 4 seed. 2 months later, they're the 11th seed and out of the playoffs. Now they did get fined $750,000 for that bench. It came out, I think, a couple of days ago.
Oh, really?
The NBA fined them $750,000 for their unrightful benching of
Yeah, well, they
resting
did
of
that
players.
to have the draft pick.
Yeah, so
right?
I don't know if they're going to keep their top 10 protected, but I'm not sure what the NBA exactly did with that situation.
I
but
don't think that's a slap on the wrist then if they only
I
get the
guess so.
fine.
I guess so. I don't know. I do love this time of the year, and then we got the draft coming up in 10 days, a week and a half for the draft. Our mock drafts will be our final series of round 1 of the mock drafts will be Friday. We do picks 21 to 31, so we'll see who wraps up the draft. We got the Giants first pick. The Chiefs have a pick in this one. The Cowboys have a pick. I think there should be one obvious position they should pick, but we'll figure it out when we each do our draft picks. But this will probably wrap up this episode of the Harvey Hour. Thank you all for tuning into this episode. We'll have clips up tonight and throughout the week. Wednesday, Harvey Hour Fired Up, my mini show in between this episode of the Harvey Hour and Friday's show. I'll break down some breaking news, I'm sure, throughout the week, so make sure you tune in then. But for this episode of the Harvey Hour, my name's Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We are the Harvey Hour. We will catch you guys Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Bye-bye.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch.
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.